here in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, on Lake Banook, where canoeing is part of life. 23 lakes in the Dartmouth area, many canoe clubs, 3 of which are on this particular lakeside. Many people have come from across the globe, as well as downtown Dartmouth, to enjoy the good weather and watch the world's best canoe sprint athletes fight for gold. I'm Ali Johnson, and alongside me for this morning's action I have David Smith, Olympic gold medal winner from London 2012. And David, given that you were a medal winner here at the World Championships last time they held it in 2009, you're well placed to say what a special event it is to have in Dartmouth.
Yes, it certainly is. It's great to be back here after 13 years. Like you mentioned, my first World Championship medal as a 22-year-old. Definitely some great memories, and although a little blurred at that point in time, it's good to come back and just get a bit more clarity of what it was like to be here.
It is indeed, and certainly the feedback from the athletes and from the fans and the people involved with the sport here has been very positive. Let's hope it's slightly less than 13 years before we see the next World Championships here at Dartmouth. They can see the timetable ahead of us. We've got 11 finals, 4 of which are in Olympic events. A few medal ceremonies to bring you as well. Very shortly we'll be underway with the K1 women's 200 meters, and we'll finish off today's action with the final of the K2 men 500 meters. And if anything, if yesterday was anything to go by, we are going to see some exciting, some tight and some dramatic races. Now there we can see the medal table, and that includes Paracanoe. Great Britain, of course, very successful. Those 5 gold medals all achieved in the Paracanoe disciplines. Good to see David, Australia on the board there, but maybe Hungary and Germany just a little bit further down the medal table than we might have expected.
Yeah, it seems like there's been a bit of a reset for the Germans and Hungarians. Change of crews, new athletes, younger athletes. I dare say they'll be developing very quick over the next 12 months.
I'm sure they will, as they prepare themselves for the next World Championships, which will be qualification for the Olympic Games in Paris in 2024. But we're going to concentrate on the race right ahead of us right now, the K1 200-meter final for the women. We've got South Africa, France, China, Poland, Hungary, Slovenia, Portugal, Canada, and, well, possibly the greatest of all time, the goat in a boat, Lisa Carrington. She goes in lane 4 in the black boat, expected to get away to a good start. She certainly did in the longer distance of 500 meters. She'll need to here, and she'll also be aware the 2 lanes to her left, Anna Lutz, who's already done so well winning the gold medal in the K2 200 meters, is putting Carrington under pressure. Absolutely.
Being a Hungarian and predominantly a 200-meter paddler, she's definitely be putting pressure on Lisa right now.
She will be, but Lisa is really going. We noticed yesterday just such a higher stroke rate than anyone else. So powerful, but applying that power on the blade, and she's beginning to pull away as we get to the last 50 meters of this race. She's deep into the red buoy, she's deep into the lactic acid, but goodness me, she's a long way ahead of the rest of the field. Lovely to see Anja Osterman taking the silver medal. What a season the Slovenia has had, and it looked to be Anna Lutz who got away to such a good start, taking the bronze for Hungary. But once again, no doubt about Lisa Carrington.
This woman is nothing but extraordinary when it comes to paddling a kayak. As you mentioned during the race, most likely will be the best that we'll see for a very long time. And the way she's just treating that 200-meter distance, it's incredible. It would be scary having to line up next to her every race if you really want to challenge for a win. It
would indeed, and that's what sometimes happens, doesn't it, when athletes begin to dominate. Actually, the other athletes look for different events where they can challenge for the gold medal, because, you know, they just think, well, I'm not sure I can beat Lisa Carrington. She was phenomenal. I know what a great lesson she sets for other paddlers. There's Marta Valchikevich, multi-medalist in the past over this distance for the pole, but not a good start from her. But Lisa Carrington, she said in an interview yesterday, every moment of pressure is a great learning opportunity. And what an example that is for everyone else. I mean, she's been unbeaten in this event, I think possibly since 2012, when she won that gold medal as a young 23-year-old. Just incredible.
It's amazing the fact that someone who's continued to win so often, to be able to hold that mental and emotional pressure, that you know that you're hunted consistently like that, and just to continue to perform the way she does under that pressure, and also hold herself to account to a level where she wants to be. To be continuously doing that takes just not a huge amount of physical toll, but a large amount of mental and emotional toll to be able to carry that pressure, and to be able to do that shows immense maturity and understanding of the way she does things.
That's right, and it's rubbing off on some of her teammates as well. They've got a great setup with the women's kayak racing in New Zealand. A lot of them based in Auckland, of course. A lot of the men now moving to the High Performance Centre over near Cambridge, but she's still very much the champion, and she's down on the pontoon with Ross.
Every world title in this race since 2011, bar last year when you weren't there. It's an incredible record. What does it mean for you, this race?
I mean, I guess it's just, for me, it's just like a pure expression of speed, and it's nice to be able to keep doing it. And yeah, I just love getting out there and going as fast as I can.
Yeah, I mean, it's 11 years, basically. You've been at top. And you've also won World Cups in this race. I know it's not the Olympics anymore, but it still has a special place for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can, it is a great event. Like, it helps my 500 so much. Just every stroke being, just going as fast as you can. And yeah, no, it's a great race to be doing.
You've got another race coming up later today.
I do.
Good luck in that.
Thank you.
What a great weekend for you already. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Well, good weekend, a great race for Lisa Carrington, 41.94. It's a quick time, although she did go under that time in the earlier rounds in better conditions. Anja Osterman, who's having a fantastic season, the Slovenian, takes the silver. And Anna Lutz for Hungary, the bronze. We will look ahead to the women's C1 200 metres coming up very shortly. We've got a little clip to bring you of Katie Vincent, of course, the world champion, but also Olympic medalist from Tokyo.
My name is Katie Vincent. I'm a paddler for Team Canada and Tokyo 2020 Olympic medalist. A common mistake that we make growing up is we keep our bottom foot angled to the side for more balance and stability, but this limits our ability to rotate and get more length out of our stroke. So by correcting it and putting it in the middle of the boat as aligned with your bottom knee as possible, this will allow you to rotate and get more range of motion with your hips to have a longer, more powerful stroke. That's something that is really important and that everybody should try.
Well, there it is, the bow of Katie Vincent's boat. Parents here, big brother, he's here as well. They've all got her name written on the back of their t-shirts. They're here to support her and to support the Canadian team. And you can be sure of a big cheer when Katie Vincent begins this race, C1 200 metres, where, of course, she is the world champion. But we'll go down the lineup. Ludmila Lutzan, bronze medalist from Tokyo. She goes in lane 1, the Ukrainian. There she is, and she won the longer 1,000 metre distance yesterday, so she's in good form. Alongside Nevin Harrison, who is the Tokyo Olympic champion. Maybe Nevin Harrison perhaps not in quite her best form, but we mustn't discount her over her favoured 200 metre distance. Maria Corbera, Spanish paddler, goes in lane 3, 4th at the World Cup in Račice in the Czech Republic this season. Then we've got the exciting Yaroslidis Dubois. Maybe a little bit disappointed in the C2 500, but came back in the C2 200 yesterday to win the gold medal. And she's been unbeaten in the World Cups over this distance this year. Then the big cheer. It is Katie Vincent. She knows these waters well. She's got a huge fan base supporting her here in Canada. And she was a silver medalist in both World Cups this year and is the current world champion. Lin Wenjun from China. She shared the silver medal with Katie Vincent at the recent World Cup in the Czech Republic. She goes in 6th. Katarina Speszkiewicz, Polish athlete who was 4th in Poznan. Then we have Maria Maillard, very good over the longer distance. She was the silver medalist yesterday in the 1,000 metres. She's always there or thereabouts, the experienced Chilean in lane 8. And Vanessa Tok, the ever-improving Croatian, goes in lane 9. There's a shot of Lake Banook. In the Mi'kmaq dialect, Banook means first lake. And the Mi'kmaq people were the first to navigate the waters of Banook. Now Banook linked by a canal, you can just see at the top of your picture there, to many other lakes, 23 of them in this region. Now the athletes in the C1 200 metre final just lining up into the starting buckets. And last few moments to concentrate perhaps on that first stroke. You can just see there the way they angle their boats. No rudders on these canoes, which is why the positioning in that boat, as Katie Vincent was saying in that earlier clip, is so important. They just angle themselves right in the quiet moments before the start. There's the lineup. Final of the C1 Women 200 meters.
Lane 7 forward, 4 forward, 2 forward, 8 forward, ready, set.
Well, difficult conditions, given there's a slight headwind pushing the boats back. They've got to stay calm over the start. Expect a good start from the Cuban. Katie Vincent uses those long levers well. She's got plenty of work to do at the moment, but we're not halfway into this race yet. The Chinese paddler, Lin Wenyun, is going well.
It looks like the Chinese really wants to make a mark here in this race, but it's really good to see Nevin Harrison, the current Olympic champion, pushing through, showing some form.
She is indeed, yes. She hasn't quite done the training maybe she didn't done last year, but she's such an exciting athlete. And there's about 5 athletes in this one. Katie Vincent's still got a lot of work to do, but Lin Wenyun from China pushing on hard, as is Nevin Harrison. Nevin Harrison, you can see at the top of the picture there, maybe leading the way now. Will the Olympic champion do it once again in the World Championships? It's the lunge for the line. It is Nevin Harrison, Chinese athlete in silver, and it's going to be a scrabble and a check of the photograph for the bronze medal. Well,
impressive. She hasn't been around in a little while since the games, and she's been quite quiet around the edges. And as we say, some people might have been questioning whether she has done the work. Clearly she has been. Maybe she might have come off the work a little bit, having a bit of time to chill out after the games, but she's showing her the quality athlete that she is, coming through and backing up after the games. Well done.
Well, she absolutely is. She did have a break after the Tokyo Olympics. You know, it's a lot to take on the young person's shoulders. There she is there, Nevin Harrison. The first time the event had been in the Olympic Games. She's very young, still under 23 now, was a world champion at the age of 19. Such an exciting prospect. Obviously had some time off after Tokyo, and she did say herself, you know, she hasn't been in the best form, but as you said, David, just shows she is clearly a quality athlete that is very well suited to this power-based event.
That's what it takes to be an Olympic champion. The highest level of quality caliber athlete out there, and she's showing what it takes to be the best in the world right now. Even when she's not at her best, or possibly done and the amount of work that she wants to do, she can still step up and take it on. And for such a young age, being an Olympic champion, that takes pressure. And to be able to hold that mental and emotional pressure as an Olympic champion and come through and step up, she's going to continue to dominate this arena for quite some time.
Yeah, such an exciting prospect. And just to see down the bottom of the picture there, it looked like that may well be the Chilean athlete.
That was really close. Looks like it could have been the Spanish that might have timed that dive just right. Might have popped over for a silver medal. We don't know.
Right, well, let's check the photograph. We'll get confirmation very shortly of the winner, because no doubt about that, Nevin Harrison. She wasn't in the lead over the first half of the race, but her quality, as you said, David, really showed. And interesting to look at the slow motion of her technique. Really held up well under pressure. And the Spanish athlete, as you've spotted, she's got a big smile on her face, so I think she may well certainly picked up a medal, but we'll find out what colour very shortly. We'll also find out the thoughts of Nevin Harrison very shortly with Ross as well. Looks like we're getting confirmation right now that, in fact, Maria Corbera, well spotted, David, she takes the silver medal.
Oh, time. 0.01 for second and third.
Yeah, 0.66 second place behind Nevin Harrison. 0.67 to take the bronze. So incredibly close between Spain and China. And Maria Maillard just misses out by less than 1/10 of a second at getting a medal. Hopefully we'll just get a word with Nevin Harrison down on the pontoon when she's got her breath back with Ross.
Nevin, congratulations. You told me the other day you weren't feeling as fit as when you won gold in Tokyo, but you've won gold here.
I was definitely rattled by the heats. I didn't have my best race. It was my first time back on the international racing course since Tokyo, so shaken up, nervous for sure, but yeah, that was long. But I'm really happy with it.
You're a little bit surprised you won?
Yeah, I'm gonna get out. I didn't train a ton this year. I took a lot of time off after Tokyo, so, you know, after the Olympics, I kind of crashed, and it's really awesome to be back up here, and it feels good to be, you know, competing with these awesome women again.
Congratulations,
world champion. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, fantastic. You can see what it means to Nevin Harrison. As she said herself, she took a long break after Tokyo, probably very wise. She'll give us a bit of time to reflect and to build then towards Paris. But she clearly is a talented athlete, an exciting athlete, really well suited to this. And also great to see this event ever developing and becoming closer and closer for the medals.
That was an impressive finish by all 4 or 5 of those girls racing to that line. Well done to them all.
Right, well, see if we get as close a race. We may well do in the K1 men 200 meters coming up very, very shortly. There you can see the lineup. We've got Georgia, Portugal, Latvia, Hungary, Sweden, Spain, Canada once again, which is why we're getting that big cheer. There you can see the crowd just down by the finish line there. Brazilian crowd very popular. Ezequias dos Santos, we saw yesterday pick up gold medal, and he's got plenty of his fans here as well. We'll take you through the lineup. We've got Badri Kavelashvili from Georgia. He goes in lane 1. Next to him, Kevin Santos, specialist over the 200 meter, the short distance, from Portugal. He's in lane 2. Robert Akmens from Latvia, 3rd at the World Championships last year. He goes in lane 3. Kolos Shismadia, 4th place in Tokyo, just missed out on the medals. 5th place at the World Championships from Sismadia. He's in 4. Now Peter Menning we'll see in 5. Very, very experienced. 6th place in Tokyo, Peter Menning. Always there or thereabouts. Had his injury problems over the last few years, but he seems to be coming back into good form. 2nd at the World Championships last year. Carlos Aravello, 5th in Tokyo, part of the gold medal winning K4 that won that exciting race yesterday. He's in 6th. Nicholas Matveev from Canada, 5th in the K4 500 meters yesterday, and a great deal of home support for him. Jonas Draeger goes in lane 8 for Germany. And then next to him, finishing up the lineup, Giacomo Quinti from Italy. So this event, no longer Olympic. Sadly, we won't be seeing this one in Paris, but it will be competitive, it will be quick, and most probably, like the previous race, it will be close.
We can certainly look forward to seeing the Hungarian, Sweden, and Spanish fighting it out. I predict, based on previous performances, those 3 guys will be certainly pushing for that win. Obviously, Peter Manning winning the last World Cup in Poznan. Kolos Shismadia, the Hungarian, has the form forfeit from the Tokyo Olympics, so he's expecting to be really quick out of the blocks. Spanish Carlos Aravello, confident off that K4 win. He'll want to really try and make a dent into this performance.
So it could be really exciting, especially to have those 3 right next to each other in the middle of the course. So we've got there, watch for the red boat, the yellow boat, the black boat in the middle of the course. We're underway, the final of the K1 men 200 meters. Peter Menning got a good start, but lane 6, Carlos Aravello, the Spaniard, already gold medal in his back pocket from the K4. He wants another one. He's got a great chance. He'll know he's approaching the halfway. Now this is all about maintenance of the speed. He perhaps just has the edge, but we can see that the Hungarian is coming quickly.
Peter Manning certainly could be coming through. Being the headwind, being a bit stronger than most of these 200-meter paddlers, he could pull through in this last 50 metres, being a slower event.
Yeah, we can see there from the top. That's a great shot from the drone. It looks to be like it's going to be Spain. Sweden, as you said, coming through just ahead of Hungary, who lunges for the line. But Peter Menning, you're absolutely right, David, into a headwind, just using every ounce of that strength. Carlos Aravello, though, takes the gold medal. Got away to a great start. I just sensed he began to fade and then seemed to pick it up again as he got into the red boys.
When he did jump out as quick as he was, I thought, okay, maybe he's a purist first 50 really quick, but coming through that 100-meter mark, 150-meter mark, he actually started to extend on Peter Manning, and that was really impressive to be able to do that into such a strong headwind. That's really impressive speed and a bit of aerobic capacity there as well. Obviously, training for the K4 500s certainly helped him there.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, isn't it? That K4 500, you need that endurance base, but also it's fast. You know, the stroke rate in the K4 500 is so high, a lot of power using there, but also about maintaining the speed, and perhaps that's really helped over this 200 meters. And certainly, like you said, times perhaps being a little bit slow just stretches it out a little bit, so maybe a little bit more similar to 500 meters.
Yeah, that's certainly playing its part, this headwind in this regatta here. A lot of athletes probably weren't expecting to be working to such a strong headwind, but you've got to adjust your style of stroke and the way you approach your race, and particularly for these 200s and 500s. Top end speed isn't quite as crucial, so sometimes you've got to really protect the back end of your race.
Well, that could be really interesting when we see the longer distances, the 500s and the 1000s. But right now we're seeing a fantastic shot from above the yellow boat of the Spaniard. Carlos Aravello possibly ahead from gun to tape for Aravello. Looked like they were coming back at him, but as you said, using that endurance from the K4 began to pull away. Peter Menning was motoring in the final 50 or 60 meters, coming through from outside the medals into the silver medal position. Watch for him in the white bow as they lunge for the line, just ahead of the fast finishing Hungarian. So Carlos Sismadia, well, he missed out on a medal in Tokyo, picks up a bronze this time round. So good result for the Spaniard, good result for Spain. They've picked up some medals so far already. So great K4 they had yesterday, and also a wonderful C2 performance in the C2 yesterday. But we'll get a word with Carlos Aravello on the pontoon down there with Ross.
Carlos, congratulations. World champion, a good weekend for you. Well done.
Thank you very much.
How was the race?
Ha sido una regata muy dura. Nos ha soplado mucho el viento en contra, pero bueno, nos hemos encontrado muy bien. Bueno, me he encontrado muy bien, y hablo en plural por el tema que K4 se escapa, y muy contento, muy contento.
K4 world champion, K2, pretty good. K1?
Sí, ha sido unas sensaciones muy buenas, no puedo estar más contento. He ganado tanto el K4 como el K1, para mí es una felicidad absoluta. No se puede aspirar a más y estoy muy contento.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, very satisfied. That's what I picked up from him, being congratulated by the president of the Spanish Canoe Federation there. So good result for Carlos Aravello. And I said that Spain were doing well. They're actually top of the medal table at the moment. They did have, until this point, 2 gold medals and a silver. Well, they've now got 3 gold medals. So there we go, confirmation 36.43, just a touch slower than we might see in better conditions. Carlos Aravello picking up the gold. Peter Menning, another medal to his collection, the Swede in silver, and Carlos Sismadia from Hungary takes the bronze. Well, we've got a race at the C1000 meters to look forward to shortly, but before we do, we'll get the award ceremony of the K1 women 200 meters. So a little bit more blustery, you can see from the trees there. We could see out there on the water, a little bit cooler. It has been very warm and very humid. And people have struggled a little bit in these conditions that we've had over the last few days, David, although I suspect the Australians haven't found it too bad.
No, look, I think a lot of the Aussies were based in Europe. I myself with Singapore were based in Europe as well, and obviously throughout the Northern Hemisphere at this point in time through Europe, there's quite a bit of a heat wave coming through, so we've been used to a bit of 35-degree heat with a bit of humidity, so coming here and experiencing 28-degree weather it's been quite comfortable for us, but obviously for some of the athletes who were expecting a little bit cooler, as Nevin Harrison mentioned, she was surprised by the heat, so obviously she hasn't been preparing in such a warmer climate, but the locals are certainly enjoying the warm weather, but obviously you can see they're not quite used to it.
No, indeed, but there's plenty. If you need a cool drink, you can get one down there. So if you are in the area, come down to Dartmouth and enjoy the festival. We've had music, we've had parties every evening since Wednesday, for the spectators at least. And it's been a great event here
women's 200-meter event
in Dartmouth. Let's hope we have another World Championship event here in the next few years. Okay, we're going to head to the rostrum, where we will see Lisa Carrington on top on the top step once again. There she is in the black tracksuit. This is the award ceremony for the K1 Women 200 metres.
The medalists for the K1 Women's 200-meter event. The medals will be presented by Thomas Konietzko, President of the International Canoe Federation, accompanied by the team leader from New Zealand. The bronze medalist is Anna Lutz, representing Hungary.
So it's been a very good regatta, very good World Championships for young Anna Lutz, gold medalist from yesterday in the K2, now bronze medalist in the K1. Hungary perhaps not winning as many medals as we might normally see them at the World Championships, but Anna Lutz, personally, it's been a very good World Championships for her.
The silver medalist is Anja Osterman, representing Slovenia.
And this is an interesting one, Anja. She's taken time off, hasn't she, after Tokyo? She wasn't sure what to do. She decided to join the Slovakians training. She spent time out in California, and it's gone really well for her.
Phenomenal season for her. She might be a little bit disappointed after missing out on a medal in the K1 500. She was showing that form at World Cups.
The gold medalist and world champion is Lisa Carrington, representing New Zealand.
Well, it's hard to beat Lisa Carrington in any event, but this is probably the most difficult, one that she is most suited to. Just another gold medal to add to her collection. What an athlete New Zealand has. What a superstar canoeing has.
We will now hear the national anthem of New Zealand.
So Lisa Carrington.
2022 K1 Women's 200-meter World Championship medalist.
Lisa Carrington, once again a world champion. She has 5 Olympic gold medals, Lisa Carrington, and now 12 World Championship gold medals. I think for women, only Birgit Fischer from Germany has more, but who knows? Lisa may well carry on and overcome that record that Birgit Fischer holds. Well, we'll see. I certainly wouldn't put it past her. She's been a phenomenal athlete and supported the development of many other women in New Zealand and around the world in canoe sprint, and we're lucky to have her.
I dare say there'll be a lot of coaches moving forward, scratching their heads and going, where do we go to try and challenge this girl? Yeah, the next couple of seasons, how do we challenge Lisa Carrington come to a K1 event? And there would be a lot of questions asked with not a lot of answers at this point in time, seeing the way she's performing at the moment.
No, absolutely right. But sport is ever developing, and somebody at some point will do that. The right coach, the right athlete, the right time. And that's the wonderful nature of sport, isn't it? And I'm sure Lisa Carrington knows that, to enjoy every single moment when it becomes, because you don't know which one's going to be your last. Right, well, we'll go back to the 1,000-metre start now, the first of our longer distance races in this programme. The C1 men 1,000-metre final. You can hear the crowd going wild, getting excited already, and that is because Ezequiel dos Santos will be taking part. Already the C1 500-metre champion. He is hugely popular all around the world. A little bit like Lisa Carrington, is a global superstar. Apparently he has 500,000 Instagram followers, which is 10 times more than any other canoe athlete out there. Just such a popular character. Such a great backstory, Ezequiel dos Santos. You know, he won 3 medals at the Rio Olympic Games on his home water. He then went and won the gold in Tokyo. Difficult childhood. He fell out of a tree. He lost a kidney when he was young. He was badly scalded when he was 5 years old.
Incredible background story that he has, rather.
And maybe that's why he's built up so much resilience, in order that he can just soak up the excitement, enjoy every race he takes part in, and that's what drives him on to train so hard and try and achieve more.
Absolutely. And then you'll be a difficult competitor to beat today with the crowd that he's got cheering on. You know, the Brazilians, they really love a good cheer, and when they have that support, they're even harder to beat.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's the case for anyone. You know, home advantage can be a big thing. And actually also, Ezequiel dos Santos is over on that side of the course. So he's in lane 7, a little bit closer to the crowd. Now, it's not all going to be about him. We've got Poland, Czech Republic, China, Romania, Italy, France, Moldova and Cuba also in this one. I would say, I don't know what you think, David, we'll get your thoughts in just a moment, but Catalin Chirilla from Romania, who's going in lane 4, has been in particular good form at this regatta.
He certainly has shown some good form during the semis and other races as such, but he'll be certainly carrying through that confidence, being in that middle lane. But I'll also point out Martin Fuchser over in lane 2. Even though he's in the outside lanes, he did show really sharp form through World Cups, and he is highly experienced, and he really knows how to step up when time comes in being tough conditions. Those type of experienced athletes really know how to step up in really tough conditions like this.
That's a really interesting one, and we saw him, didn't we, win everything on his home water in Rachice at the first World Cup, and then he backed that up with a win in Poznan. To me, just maybe didn't look in quite the same form here, but this is the final, this is the big event. So just take you through the lineup. We've got Glasnow from Poland in 1, Fuchser from Czech Republic in 2, Pengfei Zheng from China in 3, Chirilla from Romania, who's been in good form, is in 4, Tacchini from Italy goes in 5, Bart from France in 6, Dos Santos from Brazil, the Olympic champion, goes in lane 7, Tarnowski, Olympic bronze medalist from Moldova in 8, and Jose Cordova from Cuba, down there at the bottom of the picture in the red boat, goes in lane 9. Now, we're expecting the likes of Tacchini to go out hard. He hasn't done. He's a little bit steadier, but we can see that 3 from the bottom of the picture in the blue boat. The Brazilian is right up there with the early pace. He's not leading, but he's in with a chance. And this, remember, is 1,000 meters, so we're talking around about 4 minutes. So tactics will come into play in this race as well as fitness.
It certainly looks like it. It looks like the Chinese wants to put his nose out in front and make it hard to be beaten. Particularly into a headwind, when you are out in front in such a position, athletes just find just that little bit harder to pull over in front of you with that headwind in front. But looks like the Brazilian's starting to push through right now.
He is, so we're quarter way in this. We'll check the halfway split when we get there. As you said, David, the Brazilian pushing on just a little bit there. We got the splits from the first quarter. The Chinese paddler in the red boat, Zheng Pengfei, well, only 6th in Poland, but he knows it's about the World Championships. That's why he's here, and he's here for a medal. He's setting his stall out very, very early. We haven't talked much about Martin Fuchser yet. Over in lane 2 from the top of the picture. Watch for him, Adrian Bart. Well, Bart just missed out on the medals in Tokyo. He wants something better here. He's got a little bit of work to do. He's just moving up on Ezequiel dos Santos as we close in on the halfway point. It'll be interesting to see the splits and to see whether anyone picks it up as they get to the 500 meters.
This looks really interesting. All the medals at this point in time, everyone's within that half a boat length to a boat length. So it seems like everyone's just pacing themselves, knowing that they're in for a really long, hard slog into this headwind, and just making sure that they protect that back end. So with this race today, they're certainly going to be really pushing hard in that last 200.
Well, it's going to be interesting. So here we are with the splits at halfway. China still leading. Adrian Barr moves up into second place. Watch out for the bronze medal winning Moldovan. He's in contention now as well, Tarnowski. Now we'll see whether or not there's a race plan to execute, which involves picking it up just after the halfway mark. Ezequiel dos Santos, to the left of your picture there, seems to have settled, and Adrian Bart has taken on the Chinese paddler. Maybe Bart just getting his nose in front as we approach the business end of the race and the final quarter.
Looks like the Frenchman, his stroke rate is actually quite high considerably to the other guys. Now, whether that's his natural style or he's just pushing a little bit too hard for not getting that efficiency out of it. But right now, as you can see, in lane 4, to start with the Moldovan, apologies, the Romanian, he's starting to squeeze on that pressure now, and he looks like he's got some really good feel for that water right now. He's just starting to come into his rhythm. Right now, you can see the Chinese are just starting to drop off, and he's just putting the pressure on Bar.
He is, and he's just squeezing, he's just tightening and turning the screw. And this is the man in picture that has been in such great form at this regatta. He's had a good season, has the Romanian. Silver medal in Racice, silver medal in Poznan, but he wants the gold. He wants to be on the top step of the podium. He'll sense he's got 200 meters to go. He's got his nose in front, but there'll be a long way to go into that headwind. Let's hope, and he better hope that he's paced his race right and his technique to hold up. The crowd get behind Ezequiel dos Santos in the blue boat, just next to the bottom of the pitch. He's got to move through if he wants a medal. He's doing that now. Adrian Bart is digging in deep. He wants to hold that silver medal as they come thick and fast. Martin Fuchser at the top of your picture, also in the hunt for the medals. But the man in form, the Romanian, Cătălin Ciurila, he's not got far to go now. Adrian Bart is throwing everything he possibly can at him. And here comes Ezequiel dos Santos with a late charge. He's got the afterburners on. He's not going to catch Cătălin Ciurila, but he is going to take a medal. Cătălin Ciurila, the Romanian who's been informed, takes the win. The crowd go wild for Ezequiel dos Santos, and Martin Fuchser, quietly going about his business, picks up the bronze medal.
There you have it. There's what the conditions can do to a certain race plan. The Romanian wasn't in the lead all the way up till about the last 250 meters, and he came on really strong. Same as the Czech, Martin Fuchser, came in the last 200, and same as the Brazilian. So a lot of these paddlers are protecting this last 250, knowing that that's the most critical component when fatigue really kicks into a headwind.
You absolutely called it right, David. It's about that back end of the race. The final quarter was when it all changed, wasn't it? Ezequiel dos Santos, goodness me, he left himself a huge amount to do, but buoyed by the crowd, he really motored through the rest of the field in the final quarter. Ciurila, though, he knew he'd been in good form, and maybe slight advantage for him having the Chinese paddler to his right to set the early rhythm, and Ciurila just pacing himself off that and then moving through. Martin Fuchs is about 5th or 6th place there, but moves through again. He knew the times would be slower, he knew the race would stretch out, and he came good towards the end of this race. Crowd going absolutely wild, mainly for Ezequiel dos Santos, but I'm sure they're pleased for the Romanian too.
That was an impressive back 200 by Ezequiel. He was roughly around a boat and a half, 2 boats behind Bart, and in the last 200 metres he just wound up and just chased him down. That's impressive. Even catching up to within a boat length of the Romanian, he was never going to catch, but that's a very fast back end.
Really impressive, and all those three, as you said earlier, very experienced athletes as well, and perhaps using every ounce of their experience in order to put themselves in the medal positions at the right time of this race.
Knowing what the conditions are like into that headwind, you've got to stay calm in that situation. And sometimes it makes the race even a little bit more intimidating, because it is hard work. When, as an athlete, you line up into a race and you're punching into that headwind, you know you're in for a battle, and you've got to stay real calm and collected working into that.
Well, that's what Cătălin Ciurila did. 4:14 is not a quick time, but that's an impressive result for him, taking the gold medal. Ezequiel dos Santos, ever popular, exciting Brazilian, comes through late to take the silver, and Martin Fuchser picks up the bronze. So hopefully we'll get a word with Cătălin Ciurila on the podium with Ross. And I was looking through the records, I couldn't find a former world champion, certainly not in the last 10 years for Romania. So he and his countrymen will be delighted.
Cătălin. Congratulations. Thank you. You're a world champion. First time, I think, since 1986 for Romania.
Yeah, I'm very happy for this result. And I want to say one big thank you for my team and for all my friends.
You've worked so hard this year. You've been working. What does it mean for you to be a world champion?
I'm very happy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Goodness me, he's trying to compete with the crowd who are yelling for Isaquias dos Santos. There he is. He's always full of smiles. He seems to really enjoy his racing, Isaquias dos Santos. He's already picked up a gold medal from yesterday in the shorter distance. Silver this time for him. Brilliant race, but he's also showing respect for Cirilla. Cirilla is the champion. He deserves those cheers as well. And just a word for the Romanians, actually. They've been really generous towards the Ukrainian athletes as well, allowing them to train over in Romania and very supportive of all those Ukrainians. So well done to the whole of the Romanian Federation as well as to Cătălin Cirilla himself.
Fantastic ambassador for the sport, Isaquias is.
He is, you know, he's a star that sort of transcends canoeing, and that's what we need, isn't it? That's what we need. We need fans to like him. We need people to support him. We need exciting races and a real character, and he is exactly that. Let's hope he stays in the sport for a good few more years yet. Well, we're going to go to the 500-meter start now. We've seen 200s, we've seen 1000s, we've seen exciting races so far. Now we're going to look at the C1 500-meter final for the women. Non-Olympic distance, this one, but competitive nonetheless. There we have the lineup. Already a legacy from the young world and Olympic champion Nevin Harrison. We've got another American taking part in this event. So USA go in lane 1. That's Andrea Gizila, just in her early 20s. Alongside her, Viraj Bala. I'm sure she won't mind me saying not quite in her early 20s, but still in the prime of her career. She's choosing to take part in the non-Olympic events this year, having a little bit of a break after Tokyo. She was 4th yesterday in 1,000 meters. She looked to do one better than that, I'm sure, this time round. See if she can get herself on the podium. Maria Olarasu from Moldova goes in 3. Sophia Jensen, now this is a really exciting young paddler, the former under-23 world champion, who's obviously been inspired by the likes of Lawrence Vincent Lapointe, who we had with us in commentary yesterday, now retired, and Katie Vincent, to move the sport on. Another person who's moved the sport on, Ludmila Lutzan. She won yesterday in the 1,000 meters. And a great athlete, Ludmila Lutzan, won in the Czech Republic in the World Cup, won in the second in the World Championships. So watch out for her in lane 5. Lisa Jahn, in that distinctive pink German boat with the German flag colours, she goes in lane 6. Silver medal at both World Cups this year. Maria Maillard, who's having a really good regatta, Maria Maillard. She goes in lane 7. Just, I think, just missing out on the medals in the C1 200 meters, Maria Maillard. Katarina Spechkiewicz from Poland, bronze medalist from the Czech Republic. Czech Republic World Cup. She goes in lane 8, and Vanessa Tot from Croatia goes in lane 9. So 200 meters this one. Sorry, 500 meters I should say. So I think we may well see, well, a good bit over 2 minutes, given the conditions. So the final of the C1 women 500 meters is underway. So the 200 meters took place just around half an hour ago. So for some of these athletes, they'll only just managed to have got lactic acid out of their system before this race. Sophia Jensen there, the distinctive green boat, she's got away to a really good start, as has Ludmila Lutzan. It's been a difficult season for the Ukrainian in the centre of the picture in lane 5, but along with Sophia Jensen in lane 4, and also Maria Maillard in lane 7, these three out to a good early start.
Sophia Jensen, as you mentioned, very excitable paddler. Really good to see her taking this race out, really trying to get that home ground advantage on it. It would be exciting to see her really get across this line for a possible medal opportunity here. So she's really putting herself out there into this race to see what she can get.
She will, and we can see we get to the halfway point. So we will see the splits we may well see the splits very shortly as it comes up now. And we'll see that Sofia Jensen, and the crowd will see that as well on the big screens. She's right up there, almost level with Ludmila Lutza now. We should get the splits. There we can see. So she's less than half a second behind. A little bit further behind is Maria Maillard from Chile. And watch for the Polish athlete, Speszkiewicz, who could come late. It's going to be a long race, this one. I'm sure that Ludmila Lutzan is aware of that. Not far from the red boys, which will mean the last 100 metres, and she looks to put Ludmila Lutzan, who has the lower stroke rate, under pressure.
Looks like she's really feeling that home crowd pushing her home. She's just got that rate up a little bit high. This could be to her advantage, but the Ukrainian's just holding her nerve. It looks like she could be just trying to grind her down. See you can hold the pressure all the way through this last 100. That win would be really hurting them, but this is an impressive race with these two. Very much looks like it's gone to the line.
Yeah, and Ludmila Lutzan's picked it up now. She had such a long stroke, as you said. She wanted to grind Sofia Jensen down. She's just beginning to eke out a lead with that longer stroke. She picks up the rate just when it matters. This is a sign of a true champion. Ludmila Lutzan will be a hugely popular winner, takes the win in the C1 500 metres. But listen to the crowd go wild for Sofia Jensen. She's just picked up a silver medal for Canada. But the young Canadian will be delighted with that. There's another name to watch for the future.
Impressively paced race by the Ukrainian there. Sofia Jensen just started squeezing on the pressure, and sometimes some athletes can feel that pressure. They might crumble under pressure, but she held her nerve, and she knew in that last 50 she wanted to lift, and she just put that half a boat length in that last 50.
She did. Look at the delight on her face, and we often see that, Ludmila Lutzan, over the last few seasons with a big smile. This season she's maybe carried the weight of the world on her shoulders, understandably, but great to see her smiling, and great to hear the crowd go wild for Sofia Jensen. Well, they're in good voice, the crowd. They were cheering for Ezequias dos Santos in the previous race, picking up a medal for Brazil. They're cheering for Ukraine, I am sure. They have been so supportive of the Ukrainians here, but they're also cheering for their home paddler. There she is. Well, we've had the likes of Caroline Brunet, Larry Kane in the canoe, and Adam van Koveden. We may well see him dishing out the medals a little bit later. All great athletes for Canada. Well, here's another one. Sofia Jensen, a brave effort, really putting Ludmila Lutzan under pressure. But Ludmila Lutzan, we don't give away Olympic medals for free. And she showed her mettle today when she was put under pressure. She knew the home crowd were behind Sofia Jensen, but she held her nerve.
Yeah, she certainly did. She knew exactly how she was going to race her plan. She wasn't going to let that external pressure break it down. See the focus there. She knew exactly how she wanted to do it and how she wanted to win that race. That would be a very popular medal for Canada. I know Sofia Jensen is a very popular athlete here, and coming through with a medal, she'd be ecstatic with that.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about these two, and a little bit further behind, of course, there's Maria Maillard. She's done very, very well once again. Silver medal in the longer 1,000-metre distance, and now she picks up a bronze in the C1 500 metres. So a good result for the experienced Chilean athlete.
Ludmila, congratulations. Second world title for the weekend. It's been busy for you, busy weekend.
Друга перемога для моєї України. Я дуже щаслива, що мені вдалося вибороти цю перемогу. Дуже дякую всім, хто мене підтримує. Зараз ми, вся Україна, підтримуємо один одного. Ми перемагаємо всюди і ми показуємо, що ми найсильніші. Я дуже щаслива, просто немає слів. Дуже дякую.
Well, I can tell you that she is absolutely delighted. It's lovely to see that bubbly smile back on her face, and it's great to see for women's canoe racing. There's confirmation. Ludmila Lutzan, 2:22. That's a good 20 seconds slower than we might expect in calm conditions, if not more. The Ukrainian, she takes the gold medal. Sofia Jensen takes the silver. There she is in picture. And Maria Maillard from Chile takes the bronze. So 2 medals for Canada so far. Good result for them. Great result, as I said, for women's canoe. Now, I wonder if we'll get an interview. We will, I think, get an interview with the local hero, Sofia Jensen.
Congratulations. How much was the home crowd a factor for you there? Listen to it.
So great. I love hearing them. It like really makes my day. It's like the biggest crowd we've had in a long time, so it feels awesome. Really out of breath, sorry. But it was so much fun. These two ladies, everyone there is so fun to race. Like, fight to the absolute end, and it's just so amazing. I love it. Thank you very much.
Good on you.
Oh, I spilled that everywhere.
Your head upside down.
I know.
Well, she's very, very exciting, as you said, David. Sophia Jensen, she's delighted with the crowd getting behind her on that. And I've just made me think about women's canoe. Katie Vincent from Canada. We've got Sophia Jensen. We've got Ludmila Lutzan. We've got Nevin Harrison. Such young paddlers capable of doing so much, moving this event forward. It's a really exciting future.
They've done a fantastic job, all of those individual athletes, and as all the individuals pull their weight and work hard for it, it comes together as a really good outcome, particularly for these girls in sea boats. And as you mentioned those names, pushing forward to what could be really exciting and highly competitive and really deep field of C1 women.
Yeah, it's only going to get more and more competitive, which is what we want to see. But the great athletes rise to the top, and they did that on this occasion. And Ludmila Lutzan proved that she really is a great athlete. We've got a few more great athletes coming up very shortly because we have the medal ceremony for the K1 men 200 meters.
For the K1 men's 200-meter event. The medals will be presented by Luis Rabaneda, ICF Executive Committee member, accompanied by the president of the Spanish Canoe Federation. The bronze medalist is Kolos Sismatia, representing Hungary.
So another medal for Hungary. They'll be pleased about that. Medals were a little bit short on medals yesterday, but doing well this time round, and he'll be pleased. Just missed out on the medals in Tokyo.
The silver medalist is Petter Menning, representing Sweden.
So Petter Menning, good results for him. Very experienced athlete from Sweden. We'll see him in the mixed K2 later on today as well. But he picks up the silver medal.
The gold medalist and world champion is Carlos Arevalo, representing Spain.
Well, he's delighted with that, and maybe just Spain sending a message to the big countries like Hungary and Germany, who are after the K4 gold medal in Paris 24, that they're going to have to beat the Spanish. Goodness me, they've got some great athletes, the likes of him and Marcus Cooper, of course, all within their K4.
They'll be ecstatic with this regatta so far, and finally breaking that German stranglehold on the K4 500.
We will now hear the national anthem of Spain. women's 200-meter World Championship medalists.
So there they are, the World Championship medalists for the K1 200 meters event, and Spain stay right at the top of the medal table with 3 golds so far, but plenty more golds to fight for. We've got another 6 finals to bring you in this particular program. An exciting one coming up, David, of course, men's K2 1000 meters. This, well, it was where you won a medal in 2009 at the World Championships back here, one of your main events.
Absolutely, it's good to see it on the start list. As we have mentioned previously, it's disappointing to see it removed from the Olympic discipline, but as long and hard as it is, it's still quite competitive there. There's still quite a lot of number of nations in there fighting for this medal.
Yeah, you can see the details there. 650 centimeters long, 18 kilograms the minimum weight, and Sweden were the slightly unexpected world champions last time round in Copenhagen. Well, it's going to be an interesting race, as you say, this one, David. It's one of those ones that, though it's not Olympic, still very, very competitive. So we can see Slovakia, Czech Republic, Italy, Hungary, Germany, Poland, Denmark, Spain and Canada once again represented here in the final.
Yes, look, be an interesting race. Certainly you can definitely factor in the Germans as being a very competitive crew here. Martin Hill and Thomas Grossman, they're really quite experienced, young paddlers, but really high quality. But also the Poles, I mean, the Polish have really come out with this season, coming out with really quality paddlers, showing their mark in that K4 500 and K2 500, although they weren't in that run there, but they're showing that they're starting to find some form leading into next year's Olympic qualification. So expect them to be quite competitive in this race as well.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. I mean, certainly the Poles, from the women's point of view, they've really got a great group of people there who all buy into the crew boat ethos and really made it work for them, and maybe things developing with the men as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As we all know, the Polish were favourites come through, and they took care of that K4 500 quite convincingly. So obviously there is something happening over in Poland, and they're really quite confident in what they're doing.
They are, and you can just see also, look at the conditions there. That is really difficult. The trees blowing in the background, waves lapping on the decks of the paddlers. They've chosen to wear spray decks, keeps the spray from weighing the boat down, keeps the spray off the legs. And yeah, this will be an interesting one. You've talked about this already. It could be those that have the experience that know, look, this is an outdoor sport. It could well be wavy. It could well be difficult. They're going to have to change their race plan possibly and embrace the conditions. They certainly can't change them.
Absolutely. As you can see, that headwind coming back, and there's a bit of bounce back off that brick wall back there. So this first 100 is going to be a little bit tricky. And as we've mentioned, you're going to have to protect that back end. So being with this headwind, all the little weaknesses that you're focusing on your race plan, you've got to minimize those weaknesses, because a headwind's going to punish any weakness that you do have. So those type of things that really factor into a headwind is efficiency and connection in a team boat.
Interesting. So the headwind being a little bit like a microscope. If there are any kinks in your armor, we're going to see them in the headwind. Well, we've got Balas and Misak from Slovakia in lane 1. Kukaka and Vorel from Czech Republic go in 2. Burgo and Scherer from Italy in 3. No and Kulifai from Hungary in 4. Hiller and Grossman from Germany in 5. Vekvert and Lesinski from Poland go in 6. Gravison and Jensen from Denmark in 7. Gorotachegi and Vasquez from Spain in 8. And Lowe and Malfisi from Canada, nearest to your picture, go in lane 9. Final of the K2 men 1,000 meters are underway. Look at that, the spray, can see it's a headwind. The bow spraying up water as it makes its way down this course. Germans away to a good start in the black boat in the center of your picture. But remember, this is 1,000 meters. In normal conditions, it might be a little over 3 minutes. Could be a little bit longer than that this time round. So again, like we've seen before, tactics may well come into play.
Absolutely, particularly in this first 100. A lot of crews aren't going to just drag that start out and that top end speed too long. They're going to settle into their race pace a lot quicker. And as you can see, we're in the 200 meter mark. They're already into their race pace and settling in for a long, hard slog here.
That's right. You make it sound like a bit of a grind. Well, I guess it is a little bit, and it'll be who manages to keep their powder dry towards the end, who has the most efficient stroke, and not only the most efficient stroke, but also is able to work together with their partner in the boat, understanding where to apply the pressure, where in the stroke, but also where in the race.
Looks like the Slovaks out wide in lane 1 have decided to put it out there. They've decided they want to race the race on their own, so you can see the rate's just a little higher, so they're just going to try and put it out there and race those. Well, they're on their own, but they're going to see what they can do out there. Germans just sticking to their guns. You can see that rate, that efficiency, the rate's a little bit lower, well connected, good angles on the blades, moving through that headwind. Yeah, and actually they do look good, don't they? Look, as most German crews look certainly very, very well drilled as a crew, but also pretty relaxed. Absolutely. You can just see that leg drive and that body movement. When that leg drive and body movement is moving together, you know that all that energy is being connected up equals really good efficiency. Right, so halfway, Germany, Slovakia, Denmark. They're the positions at halfway. No medals for that, though, and there may well be other crews. Not far away, we can see Hungarians, 4 from the top of your picture. Next to them, the Italians as well are there. And then down right at the bottom of your picture, 2 to the left of Germany. The Danes are still in this one. So somebody, if they're going to put the Germans under pressure, over the next 20 or 30 seconds or so, somebody has to really pick it up. Look like the Slovakians out wide, just starting to tighten up. They just look a little uncomfortable there. Might have squeezed on a little bit too much pressure out the mark there, but you can see the Hungarians here just to the left of the Germans start to just wind up a bit of pressure there. Italians as well. Yeah, and that was a great shot from the drone, getting nice and close to the paddlers. I'm not sure the paddlers enjoy it, but certainly we do from watching that. And you could see the Germans still look very efficient, still look smooth, still look like they've got something more to give if they need to. So we can see as the camera pans out and as we approach the last 200 meters, Germans with almost a boat length, Slovakians hanging on in there, but several crews, amongst them the Italians and the Hungarians, beginning to apply the pressure, and the Germans have picked it up. You can see the rate's gone through the roof there. Goodness me, this is quite a demonstration. They are absolutely annihilating the rest of the competition here in the K2 1,000 meters. There's the value of a crew that can work together efficiently and cleanly, well connected. They've got that energy to finish off strong into this headwind. And you can see that rate's gone up, right up, 10 beats at least, and they're just putting daylight between them and the Italians. Wow, really impressive. We've seen some incredibly close racing here at the World Championships in Dartmouth. This is something we haven't seen. You could time that with a calendar. There is a massive gap between them, and looks to be the Italians are going to take second. Incredibly close. Maybe the Hungarians or the Danes take the bronze. But for once at this World Championships, absolutely no question whatsoever of who the quality crew was there. The Germans were far and away better than everyone else. What was it that made them so good, David? Well, look, as I mentioned, this crew, they've been training well together. They've been quite competitive internationally across the 1,000 and the 500 meter mark. But as you could see, as you watch through that race, just the angles and their angles through their blades, really similar angles. That leg drive and that body movement. And they're obviously quite fit and strong, but you can see their stroke rate is a lot lower compared to other crews. So that every stroke that they're taking, there's really good connection. As you can see, there's good boat run, quite relaxed, quite controlled. And all those little 1%ers add up to 10%. And that 10% was unleashed on the rest of the field in the last 200 meters. It was. Just all of a sudden, the stroke rate came up. And it just showed how much they had in the bag, I guess. A couple of more extra gears to go through. They possibly didn't even need them, but really wanted to put a marker down, and maybe also a little bit of a marker down to the German coaches and selectors to say, look, we're world champions in this event, but we really want to be in an Olympic boat. We want to be in the K2 500. We want to be in the K4 500. And, well, they're giving themselves a great chance. Look at that clear water even before they get into the red buoys, and they only stretch that advantage. Very impressive. It seemed like they really wanted to send a message in that last 200 metres. They had that race wrapped up, but when a crew lifts their rate and puts distance between their crew, they really wanted to make a mark on that race. Big margin, big margin. The Italians look to be the ones that were going through to second place, and we'll get lunge for the line for third. Yeah, look like the Hungarians take third place, just ahead of the Danes, who are always there or thereabouts.
Well, congratulations to the boys from Germany. A good race, but I mean, you made it look easy.
Yeah, it was okay. We've had a quite difficult season actually. He had some problems. I had some problems. We were ill. I had COVID and stuff, and it was still a nice race. It was quite easy, as you said. Not quite easy, but it was a smooth race, I'd say. It was. We're extremely happy.
Yeah. Would you like to say something in German to your fans at home?
He wants to. Thanks.
Liebe Grüße an Deutschland, an die deutschen Fans.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you,
Well, he's just got the breath for a short comment there, but there are a lot of fans in Germany that will be watching that. Very, very pleased. Thomas Konechko, who leads up the International Federation and former president of the German Federation, will be delighted with their gold medal. A bit of a rare gold medal for Germany in this World Championships, but a good one nonetheless. They take the gold, Italy take the silver, Hungary take the bronze.
And it was interesting to hear him say that it was not easy, but he said it was smooth. And there's those types of little things when you say it was smooth, it was connected. Sometimes you can find that efficiency, you can be comfortable. And when you have that comfortability, when you're working hard, and you can have that false perception that it's easy. And that allows them to kick into another gear.
To flow, yes, and the athletes talk about that purple patch, that feeling of flow, and it obviously happened for them, and it went really, really well. And he's right, the Germans have struggled, certainly during the World Cups. A number of the team had COVID, and then sadly a couple of the team, in fact, at this World Championships have had to withdraw because of COVID. So they have had their difficulties, so a good result for them. We're going to go back up to the 1,000 metre start, to another non-Olympic event, but a competitive one nonetheless. The K1 Women 1,000 metres. We'll line them up for you here. We may well see an Australian medal if we don't see a win, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Irene Burgo from Italy goes in lane 1. Pernille Knudsen, bronze medalist from the World Championships last year on her home water. She's in lane 2. Estefania Fernandez from Spain, there she is, goes in lane 3. Alyssa Bull, she's been in good form, winning the World Cup in Czech Republic earlier this season. She goes in lane 4. Esther Rendesi, 7th in the 500 metres, K1 500 metres. Esther Rendesi, the Hungarian, goes in 5. Anna Maria Govacinovic, now she was really impressive in the K1 500 metres, taking the silver medal behind Lisa Carrington, so watch for her, the Croatian, in lane 6. Justina Izrika, another one of the Polish paddlers who are doing so well at the moment. There she is in that distinctive boat. She goes in lane 7. Anishka Paludova, just outside the medals at the World Championships. We'll see her, another distinctive boat there, the Czech paddler. She goes in lane 8. And then finishing up the lineup, Julia Hegert, the German. We'll see her in lane 9.
This will be an interesting race. It's actually really good to see 3 of the girls here: Alyssa Bull, Esther Rendesi, Anna Maria Govorin. Sorry, I can't quite pronounce the name of the Croatian.
Govacinovic is quite a tricky one.
Yeah. Both in the K1 500 final. It's good to see these girls coming in and taking on the K1000, making it a competitive event. So it'll be really interesting to see. We know where Alyssa Bull stands with her K1000 winning the World Cups, but to see the Croatian and Hungarian take it to Bully, I know Bully's determined to take on and make this K1000 her event within the women's area. But obviously Anna Maria coming in with a silver medal in the K1 500 has good form, so she'll be quite confident in what she can do here. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
It will, and with all respect to Alyssa Bull's competitors in the World Cups, you know, this is possibly another step up, isn't it? Particularly as you say that we have athletes that were competing and doing very well in the 500 metres.
Absolutely. Traditionally, a lot of the girls haven't really, from K1 500, 200, haven't really taken the 1,000 seriously. So to see some girls who are in the K1 500 moving to this 1,000 arena, this will give Bully some much-needed competition.
It will indeed. Let's see how she responds to this. You could see the flag flapping around 4.4 meters per second, the wind, and lovely conditions today, temperature-wise, 24, 25 degrees out there. A little bit wavy. For the final of the women's K1 1,000 meters. Watch those boats in lanes 3, 4, 5 and 6. And already the green and gold from Australia away to a good start.
Yeah, very clean start. She was ready for that. Obviously, being a clubby, surf life saving, she's ready for some bumpy water. And that start did catch out the Hungarian. She was just trying to move around with the bumpy water, and just the start gate dropped on her. Wasn't quite ready, but Bully took advantage of that and got a nice little lead over her.
Yeah, she did indeed, and you could tell from what you were saying she wants to take this race by the scruff of the neck. Certainly, judging by the first 200 meters, she's looking to do that. Although Pernille Knudsen, who's got good form, bronze medalist from the World Championships last year, she's just 2 lanes to Alyssa Bull's right. Also got away well. But you're absolutely right. The background that many of the paddlers from New Zealand and Australia have in surf lifesaving, well, this is just small chop relative to what they've grown up with.
Absolutely, particularly when it comes to surf lifesaving. Obviously, going through the waves and such, but Bully would be in her element right now. She'd be just finding her groove. I mean, she's definitely pushed it out. Just watching the way she's taking on her stroke, she definitely wants to squeeze the pressure on the girls and put the others under pressure, knowing what that would feel like with this headwind.
Well, it's a good first quarter from Alyssa Bull, just beginning to pull away from the rest of the field to her left. She'll probably be aware that Esther Rendesi,
yeah, she's actually had a good second 250 here now. She's just found her groove, recouped from that start, and now she just looks like she's just trying to work her way back on Bully.
And that's what the 1,000 meters allows, I suppose, particularly a race like this. Normally you might see 4 minutes. There's going to be more than that in these conditions. And so she's got time to be able to do that. And actually, when we saw the close-up of Esther Rendesi, it did remind me slightly of Danuta Kozak in the way that she paddles, really trying to swing the weight around that blade. But she's got a lot of work to do if she's going to get on terms with Alyssa Bull.
See these girls, these conditions are really tough now. This wind's just starting to pick up a little bit stronger as we come into the afternoon. You can see comparatively this morning it wasn't as bumpy and windy, but geez, that is blowing real hard right now.
But it is, I mean, 2 minutes 13 for the halfway split. We're looking at, you know, close to 4.5 minutes for the 1,000 meters, which is a long time for these paddlers. Sort of 20-30 seconds more than we might normally see. But Bully looking pretty good at the moment.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's just managed to get through that first 500. That first 500 was really tough. By the time we get down to the end of this course in the last 200, 250, 300 meters, we are a little bit protected here with the hillside around here, so it does flatten off a little bit. So if you can get through that first 500, 600, put a bit of a gap on the field, you've got a bit of an advantage towards the back end, knowing that it flattens out and the wind's not as strong because it is protected by the hills.
Good point. Quite often the paddlers in 1,000 meters, the start feels so much of a long way away. There's no crowd there. It's often more spread out, and as you said, a little bit more windy. So coming into calmer conditions, supported by the crowd, it's very difficult to see anyone taking this from Alyssa Bull now. She really has got the bit between her teeth, keeping that stroke long and maintaining her form.
Yeah, she'd be feeling the distance between herself and Esther right now. She'd know she'd be just around, but she's just keeping that pressure on. But going through here now, through the last 200 now, she'll be feeling quite confident. She'll probably start to squeeze on the pressure just to make sure she's got it covered. But Esther looks like she's still trying to hang on there and just keep that pressure on.
Yeah, we've got to give a huge amount of respect to Esther Rendesi, who didn't get the best of starts. She's the only one who's really tried to challenge Alyssa Bull here. Those two have got a long way ahead of the rest of the field. Alyssa Bull does have clear water now over the Hungarian as she gets to the red buoys. An impressive paddle from her. She will be pleased to note that the water has, as you said, calmed down a little bit now, and she can maybe just begin to find a rhythm, step it up once more as she approaches the finish.
Esther's really trying to dig deep. The rate's up a little bit, but it just looks like Bully's just got that gap on her.
Well, Esther Rendesi trying to get an overlap on Alyssa Bull, but Alyssa Bull's not going to leave too much of the door open. So Alyssa Bull is the world champion, pushed all the way by Hungary's Esther Rendesi, and it is the in-form Croatian Anna Maria Gorgacinovic who takes the bronze medal. And quite often in world championships, the women's 1,000 meters isn't so competitive, but that was a competitive and tough race, a real challenge for the paddlers there. But you can see from Alyssa Bull's face, she's delighted to come through that challenge on top and to take the gold medal and be crowned world champion.
In very tough conditions as well. I dare say the girls will be happy to have that race behind them. As tricky and difficult as that headwind was, it was in many instances, sometimes the conditions as such as like this can beat the athlete before they start the race, knowing how difficult it can be. You know, looking at those conditions, that's quite, like, as I've mentioned, it's quite intimidating being so bumpy and windy and knowing what you're in for. But once it's done, everyone's very thankful the race is over.
Yeah, a real challenge. And actually, you know, mentioning those conditions, it was a Hungarian who really struggled off the start. Now, if Esther Rendesi had got her best possible start away with Alyssa Bull, she would have had that opportunity to put her under a little bit more pressure. Whereas once we were at halfway here, Alyssa Bull had clear water, would just be aware where the Hungarian is and sense her move up and was able to push on again.
Yeah, the starts are a tricky thing. You can never win a race from the start, but you can always lose a race. And I'm not suggesting that Esther might have lost that race from the start, but it might have just played on. If you have a bad start, you miss it, mentally you're like, oh, I've got to catch up, or you got to just change your race plan. And if she did have a good start, who knows, she might have chased Bully out and been a lot closer towards the end.
So hopefully we'll get a little interview with Alyssa Bull on the pontoon down there with Ross, as we see the replay there. Gorgacinovic from Croatia going through to take her second medal of this World Championship. Silver in the K1 500, bronze in the K1000. But you can see what the gold means to Alyssa Bull in the 1000, and she's down on the pontoon with Ross.
So long.
Alyssa Bull, world champion. Bit of a headwind here. That was a tough race.
Yeah, it definitely was a long 1000. But so goal was to just get out hard and then just keep it long and strong, keep pushing all the way to the end.
Now, your K2 partner, Elise Burnett, won this title in 2017. You've joined her now. You guys do everything together, so that's nice.
Yeah, we do. We like to, you know, keep following the same path. And big shout out to her back home. She's been really supportive this trip, all the way from afar, and so stoked for her, Woody and little Florence. Yeah, I miss you guys.
Congratulations, Elise. Well done.
Thank you.
So nice little touch for friends at home there. Alyssa Bull delighted with that 4:27. It's a long way, 1,000 meters into the wind. She takes the gold medal. Esther Rendesi takes the silver for Hungary, and Anna Maria Gorgacinovic for Croatia, there's a name to mark for the future, takes the bronze.
That's a good solid 30 seconds slower than what it really usually would have been. And as we've mentioned with this headwind, you've got to just adapt to what that 30 seconds look like. Another 15% of time, it could change your race plan, change your stroke rate, change the way you want to move out in the start. So these conditions definitely, a lot of these athletes have got to be thinking differently in how they're going to approach a race.
Well, that's what these C2 athletes will have to do over 1,000 meters. Wavy conditions and a headwind is difficult for a kayak. Also difficult for a canoe. As you can see there, the paddlers kneeling, so they have a higher center of gravity, really narrow boats, and being two of them, they have to be able to work together. Now, combination of waves, wind, and losing the timing can make it very, very difficult for these paddlers. So they'll really have to be working as a unit. We can see there the lineup: Colombia, Hungary, Poland, Germany, China, Canada in there. They'll get a big cheer, I'm sure. Spain, Brazil, and the Czech Republic. So, Alejandro Ramirez and Daniel Kepakwata from Colombia go in lane 1. Balázs Kiss and David Hodovan for Hungary go in 2. Dominik Nowacki and Norman Zezula from Poland, they go in lane 3. Sebastian Brendel and Tim Hecker, ever-present Sebastian Brendel at the World Championships. Watch for them. They're in lane 4 in their favoured distance. Liu Hao and Ji Bowen from China. Should see them lining up in 5. There they are. Next to them, the crowd roar for Craig Spence and Brett Himmelman. The Canadians, bronze medalists from Poznan. So they've got a chance here in front of their home crowd. They're in lane 6. Dominguez brothers from Spain go in 7. Spain, of course, winners in the C2 500-meter race. That was Garcia and Martinez. gold medalists there. Spain top of the medal table so far. Erlon Silva and Felipe Vieira from Brazil. Big cheer for them once again. They go in lane 8. And Anton Trabal and Jiří Zalobil from the Czech Republic, who just missed out on the medals in Poznan at the World Cup a couple of months ago. They're in lane 9.
Obviously, we can't discount the Germans here. The big name is Sebastian Brendel. You always know if Sebastian Brendel's in a race, seaboat race, you know you're in for a tough race. Obviously, China having the form as they always do within the C2, have a lot of history and success with the C2. Canadians, they'll be pushing for a medal here, certainly.
Yeah, this could be who's wise, who just paces it right, and waits and waits and waits to make their move. Well, we'll find out in the next 4 minutes or so. The final of the men's C2 1,000 meters is underway, and Germans, perhaps unsurprisingly slightly, get away to a good start.
Well, punching into his head when you being a lot bigger and stronger in terms of Sebastian, he would have that strength to just really lever that big and heavy boat through that water there, that heavy water just pushing hard against him. So, not surprising there, as strong as he is, he's going to really try and maximise his opportunity, having that strength and use that to his advantage. So they're really pushing that pressure on, trying to drag those Chinese out, see what they can do the first 250.
It's interesting, trying to go with them as well, and yeah, certainly into a headwind, the heavier, stronger paddlers seem to have an advantage, just be able to use that strength. And as you've said, David, well, if you've got it, absolutely make the most of it. And Brendel doing that with his partner Tim Hecker. They've been together for a few years now, and had quite a lot of success as a crew. Won both World Cups in this event this year, 3rd at the Tokyo Olympics, and Sebastian Brendel in the front of that boat is an absolute legend of the sport. He's won more World Championship gold medals than even Lisa Carrington. So quite an achievement, but the Chinese going with them at the moment.
The Chinese, they definitely answered the questions of the Germans. They put it out there and they held their nerve and gone through it. It looks like the Chinese, they look quite comfortable. They don't have that grimace on the face here. You can see the Germans are really trying to push it out. You can see Sebastian really breathing heavily. You can see he's putting that effort in, but it just seems like the Chinese right now, just at this point in time, might be doing it a bit easy. Could be just pacing themselves off the Germans. We don't know what could happen here, but see holds back that 1 or 2%, see how they can push home in the last 250.
Well, really interesting. You're right there. If you watch the Germans there, it doesn't look perfectly smooth, as we saw. In fact, the German crew was winning the men's K2 1,000 meters, just looked so relaxed. It looked so easy. It felt easy. Not the case for Brendel and Hecker. That doesn't mean to say they're not going to win this one, but certainly you could see that they are putting a lot of effort in. They're spending a lot of money in terms of energy, and that may well tell towards the end. They've got 3/4 of a boat length on China. Really interesting shot, that one, to see. China still have some work to do to get on terms with the Germans, but there's a long way to go yet.
Looks like they've got more in the tank, the Germans. They've had a really hard push at that 500-meter mark. Looks like they just want to try and give themselves some breathing room, just so they know they can just have that gap there in that last 250, minimise the Chinese chance of coming over the end.
Right, well, 250 meters to go, coming up very shortly. Another minute or so to go. The Chinese just beginning to creep up on the Germans. Now, we'll see. What have the Germans kept dry? Have they got another gear to go up through? Because the Chinese are asking questions. They're really beginning to put the Germans under pressure as they get to the 200-meter mark.
It looks like that's the case. The Chinese have just lifted up another gear. It looks like Sebastian in the front there. It's just getting a little slower and heavy at the back of the stroke. Let's see if they can really dig deep and try and hold off the Chinese. But the Chinese are starting to lift. That rate is up compared to where they were in the middle of the race.
Well, the rate is up, but they do look smooth, they do look composed, they do look together. There's another race going on behind these two, which includes the Canadians battling out for a bronze medal. The Germans just beginning to pull away slightly from the Chinese. It's neck and neck. The Germans have half a meter on it at the moment, as we can see from that shot. But as the camera pans out, we'll get a look in the final few seconds whether the Chinese have got anything more to give. It'll be down to the lunge for the line here. bow to bow, but the Germans just had enough to get ahead of the Chinese. And with another race going on, several seconds behind the Germans and the Chinese. We'll get a look at that in a minute, see whether or not the Canadians, they do indeed take the bronze medal. That's a third medal for Canada, and a popular medal at that. Congratulations to them. Canada going through, winning almost the other race here in the C2000 meters. Canada take bronze, but Germany just stay ahead of the Chinese, and that takes real guts, doesn't it? They got out there hard. The Chinese were always there. They kept pushing, kept asking questions. We thought maybe the Germans had given everything, but when it comes to digging deep, not many more people can dig deeper than Sebastian Brendel.
That was really impressive. As you said, we thought that maybe they might have gassed out a little bit too much through that 750 mark, but it seemed as though Sebastian and Tim Hacker, they really wanted to get their nose out in front and dictate the terms of the race. So their race plan, it seemed like we're going to get out in front, and whenever the Chinese want to push, we're going to push back. And they just held that 1 foot lead on them all the way through. And anytime the Chinese moved, they moved. Chinese move, we'll move. And that's really impressive skill set by Sebastian, just dictating the terms of how they're going to race.
Very much did, didn't he? And simple race plan. We're just going to stay ahead of anyone else, but not an easy one to execute, especially when you put it under so much pressure several times within that race. There's almost a time just there where the Chinese nearly got their bow in front, but the Germans were just belligerent. They would not let the Chinese get ahead. Grit, determination, as well as synchronicity, as we can see there.
Having the strength and the ability to respond immediately in the last 100, 150 as such into a headwind, that requires a large amount of strength. And Sebastian Brendel, we all know how big he is, and you can see why he can do that. And to be able to respond under pressure with the lactate and that exhaustion, it's impressive work. And Germans do have a real good skill set and be able to kick home in the last 150, 250 in many races.
Well, they must have worked on that a lot in training, a lot over the years. Sebastian Brendel really been top of this sport for over 10 years now. It's been a long journey for him, and that journey has not finished. Him and his partner Tim Hecker crowned world champions once again, and they're down on the pontoon with Ross.
Ooh, water. Yep, thanks.
Tim, Sebastian, just quickly.
Yes.
Boys, congratulations. Sebastian, what a race. Now they're looking for their water. Tim, what a race, mate.
Thank you.
What a race. That last 250 metres, how did that feel?
Perfect. Felt great. We had a good start, and managed to push and push in the middle. And then the finish was just, everything out, because we wanted the gold medal so bad.
Sebastian, this is your, I believe, 13th world title. First one ever, though, in C2.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. It was a tough race with a strong headwind, but we're happy that we could get the first place.
I think the Chinese got in front of you at one stage. How hard was that to fight back from that?
We had a race plan and stay on this plan, and it works really good.
Congratulations, boys. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm not sure they agreed with Ross there. I think they felt they were in front the whole way from start to finish, but what really mattered is getting that over the line first. 0.43 of a second separating the Germans and the Chinese. The Canadians, an incredibly popular bronze medal in just over 4 minutes there, but a long way down on the front two. So great result for them, and you could just see how much it took out of them. Sebastian Brendel.
Yeah, the big foghorn from Sonobe, the club I started paddling at, and the...
While you're talking. Congratulations.
That's unreal. Thank
Congratulations. How was that to win a medal in front of your home crowd like that?
It's unbelievable. I grew up here. I started paddling here when I was 5, so to be able to get a medal here is like, it's couldn't be better.
Did they really push you towards the end, the crowd?
Yeah, for sure. It's so loud, and everyone here, the support's unbelievable.
It's amazing. Like, just
when you're at the top, it just feels like one of the 100 races we have done here before, but when you get down to the bottom, it's the best atmosphere in the world. Like, wow, like I think the crowd really pushed us through the end there, because holy, that hurt a lot going to the end. That was a long 1,000.
Well done, boys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, there were 2 races going on there, weren't there? And the Canadians won that second race, buoyed by the crowd, and a great performance from them. Congratulations to Craig Spence and Brett Himmelman. We're going to go back to the medal rostrum, where we will see the award ceremony for the C1 women 200 meters.
Present the medalists for the C1 Women's 200-meter event. The medals will be presented by Member of Parliament Adam Van Couverden, who is also Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health and Sport and a world and Olympic champion in K1 500 meters. He will be accompanied by the team leader from the United States of America. The bronze medalist is Wei Junlin, representing China.
Well, good bronze medal for the Chinese paddle there. You can see what it means to Wen Junlin.
The silver medalist is Maria Corbera, representing Spain.
Another medal for Spain. They stay at the top of the medal table currently. Plenty more races to go, but it's a good position to be in for the Spanish.
The gold medalist and world champion is Nevin Harrison, representing the United States of America.
Well, one of this fantastic new generations, the Olympic champion because the world becomes the world champion. Great result for Nevin Harrison. We're going to be seeing a lot more of her on the podium in the years to come, I have no doubt.
We will now hear the national anthem of the United States of America. C1 Women's 200-meter World Championship medalists.
Well, Nevin Harrison did this as a 19-year-old in 2019. She does it once again in 2022, reaching a whole new audience from the United States.
Knowing the journey that she's been on, this will give her great confidence moving forward. And having that time off and dealing with the pressure, for her, it will probably just reaffirm her position and what she's capable of, and now she'll have that confidence just to progress further forward and make it actually even more difficult to beat her. So she's going to be really tough to beat moving forward.
She is, even with the development of all these other paddlers like Ludmila Lutzan, like Sophia Jensen from Canada and Katie Vincent. Nevin Harrison, she'll have a lot of confidence going forward. Looking forward towards the likes of the World Championships next year. Who knows, we might even see her at the end of this month at the Super Cup in Oklahoma. Let's hope so. Right, well, we're going to go to the start of the 500-meter race to look at the C4. Now, in Canada, maybe something similar they have would be the war canoes, where they have 15 people in a boat, a little bit like a dragon boat. This one only 4 this time, but it's a tricky event nonetheless, and an exciting one to watch. So
go on.
I was just going to say, there's the lineup we can see there. It's not the biggest of fields, but still should be a good one. Hungary, Poland, Ukraine, Spain, Germany and Canada.
Something that the Canadians certainly do have a lot of culture in coming from that war canoe, so they certainly will be aiming to be competitive in this event. It is quite an exciting event, seeing a C4 charge down the line, and as we mentioned, this headwind is going to be really difficult, particularly for the back paddler. They're trying to steer through this water, so it'll be quite a difficult job for them.
It's a tricky one. Have you ever paddled C4, David?
Do you know what? I haven't paddled a C4, but I have paddled a war canoe. Back when we were here in 2009, we were at Rideau Canoe Club, and we managed to get into a war canoe, did a couple of races, and it is actually very enjoyable and quite exciting to be in a war canoe when it is at full speed.
So I believe quite dangerous as well. They've got to keep out the way of the other boats. And they actually had an event, didn't they, that World Championships, as part of the World Championships, as kind of a demonstration event. Well, still, there are World Championship medals up for grabs here. So although this is a very entertaining race to watch, particularly if it starts to go wrong, it's also an important one for these paddlers. So in Hungary, Zombori, Kozaks, Slihoci and Kolar, they go in lane 3. The Poles, Kitievski, Slavinsky, Glazunov and Zazula. Now watch for them. I'd expect this crew to be good. They're in lane 2. In lane 3, Vergeles, Rybachok, Vandyuk and Mischuk also expected to do well. The Ukrainians in lane 5. Then you've got Spain, Moreno, Granata, Fontan-Sierro in lane 6. Peter Kretschmer leads the Germans. A very experienced German, was the Olympic champion in C2 1,000 meters back in 2012, Peter Kretschmer. And he's with Fabian Schatz, Moritz Adam, who made the final in the C1 500 meters here, and Nico Pickert, who was the silver medalist in the C1 200 meters here. So watch for the German crew in lane 7, although it looks like they've not made it, unfortunately. Then we've got Canada. Laidlaw, Plumto, Billard and O'Neill go in lane 8. So the final of the C4 men 500 meters. Well, we're underway. It looked like Spain got away to the best start. So 500-meter race, difficult conditions for these C4 paddlers. Working together in harmony is the absolute priority for these paddlers. And, well, pretty high stroke rate and good speed at the moment in the early stages from Spain.
Yeah, Spanish nailed that start. It seems like they've really got that work done from a lot of that 200 type style of the work. So they just jumped out and they've just settled into a really nice rhythm now. So you can just see they're just stretching out, getting some really good run for each stroke, just holding that distance between them and the Ukrainians.
Yeah, Poles that we saw at the top of your picture also beginning to come to the fore now as we get to the halfway mark. But Spain's have made absolutely all the early running, but you can see from that great shot from behind the view that the paddlers have as they approach the finish line. They can see the boys at 200 meters. Well, Spain have got the lead, but Poland beginning to put them under pressure. There's potential here for the Poles to overcome the Spanish, and maybe the Ukrainians who are still in there to sneak through, if not for the win, at least for a medal.
It looks like the Poles are just grabbing that little bit more water, just holding on, just pushing through a little bit more, but I think the Spanish, at least the last 100, just keeping that rate up just a little bit higher, just might keep them on their work enough.
Well, it's going to be incredibly close. The Ukrainians are coming, the Poles are coming, as you said, with a slightly longer stroke rate. The Spanish looking a bit more choppy, but they've still got the lead. As we'll be getting to the final few strokes, they can sense the finish line, even if they can't see it. And it looks as if they get the lunge right, it will be Spain who will take the World Championships ahead of Poland, with Ukraine in third.
Another gold medal for Spain. They are having a fantastic World Championships.
Well, goodness me, they are. I mean, this must be their most successful World Championships so far. Incredible. They had 3 gold medals to their name and 2 silvers. Looks like that's going to be 4, and they'll stay very much at the top of the medal table. Really impressive. Great facilities in Spain.
Look, it's really quite interesting what's happening within Spain. Like, I did have a conversation with the president and the high performance director around what's different that they've been doing this season. And one thing that they did mention is that they haven't had individual sea trials when it comes to team boats. In terms of, if I'll just reflect onto the K4 as when they finally won the World Championship this year, and that most years they have sea trials in their K4, and anyone who's been involved in individual sea trials when it comes to a crew boat, it can be quite an ugly place. So they've gone, okay, first cross the line for a K4, you go. So I dare say the same similar thing might have happened with the C4, and it's given these crews that time to lock down and train over the season, just focus on that one event, which is clearly showing it's paying off for them.
Well, there's one thing about that kind of selection policy is clarity, isn't it? And often athletes, although they may disagree with it, at least they know exactly where they stand and what's going to happen there. And it's clearly worked for the men's K4 and quite possibly for the canoe as well. Another great result for Spain, staying top of the medal table. Germany, as far as the medal table goes, beginning to hunt them down in second place, with Hungary not far behind. But yeah, good result for Spain. They've got some great facilities in Seville and Galicia as well, and Asturias, where they'll train in this spring and through the winter. And it's really paying off for them, and hopefully in just a minute we'll see them join Ross on the pontoon.
¡Qué carrerón! ¡Qué carrera! ¿Arrancaste primero ya? Sí, arrancamos primero. ¡Maravilla! ¡Qué maravilla! Llegó, tío. Llegó. Sí, joder. ¡Cohete! ¡Tony, qué! ¡Ya! ¡Señor!
Congratulations, boys. Congratulations, C4 world title.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a very insane race, very hard with the headwind, but it's the work we do around the year, and thank you very much.
Yeah, Spain is so strong in canoe at the moment. What's going on there?
We have an amazing team. The team of canoe in Spain is so hard. We have a lot of level, and that is one of the things because we stay in the top.
Certainly do. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
¡Vamos, campeones del mundo!
¡Vamos!
Well, you can see just what that means to the Spanish paddlers. They have indeed got a great setup for both kayak and canoe. And another gold medal for Spain. Poland taking the silver. Ukraine take the bronze. Well, we'll look forward very shortly to the K2 women's 500 meters. But before we do, we'll hear from Lisa Carrington, already a double world champion here on Lake Banook.
My name is Lisa Carrington. I'm from New Zealand. Here in Halifax, I'm racing K1 200 and 500, K4 500 and K2 500, and have won a number of World Championship titles and Olympic gold medals. For the K2 500, I have a new teammate, Alicia Hoskin. I'm super excited to race with her, and we will just see what we're capable of, and I'm really excited.
Well, Lisa Carrington, as we said, she's 2 gold medals to her name at the World Championships. The last one she won at just after 11 o'clock. It's now 12:45 local time, so she's only had just over an hour and a half to prepare herself once again. She's with her partner, Alicia Hoskin. They've got a bright future as a K2 ahead of them, I'm sure, these two. So we'll see the New Zealand crew in just a minute, just to take you down the lineup. Manon Hoston and Léa Jamelot from France are in lane 1. There we can see the lineup ahead of you. Get a look at those paddlers in just a minute. So we have Denmark, Great Britain, Belgium, Poland, Germany, New Zealand, Canada once again, and Sweden represented here. So there's the French crew, Hoston and Jamelot. Manon Hoston was a crowned world champion in wild water racing on her home water in Trenac in France earlier this season. Then lane 2, we've got Frederikke Mathisen and Bolette Iversen from Denmark. Next to them, Deborah Kerr and Emma Russell from Great Britain. Kristina Medvedchikova has been overseeing the development of these two paddlers just over the last couple of years. Really moved on in Great Britain. We've got a wonderful K4 that made the final yesterday, and now Debs and Emma find themselves in a final once again in the Olympic event of K2 500 meters. Hermine Peters and Lisa Brooks, real quality crew from Belgium, go in lane 4. Then we've got Carolina Naya and Anna Polowska, winners by a good margin in the K4 yesterday. Really great feel between these two paddlers here, and a great relationship that can be seen on the water. Then we've got Paulina Pasek, born in Poland but now competing for Germany, along with her Julie Hack. Then it's Alicia Hoskin, who's in the front of that boat from Gisborne. Had heart surgery back in 2017, but is in great form now. She's with Lisa Carrington, multi-world and Olympic champion, of course. They're in lane 7. Next to them, Adrienne Langlois and Toshka Rebecca, who picked up a medal yesterday already in the short 200 meters event. They're in lane 8. And then Linnea Stencils, focusing on the crew boats this year, the Swede with Moa Wiberg. They go in lane 9. We're underway with the final of the K2 women 500 meters. Watch for the black boat. Absolute aggression from Alicia Hoskins and Lisa Carrington there in the black boat towards the left of your picture, but it's not going to go all their way because this crew here, Naya and Polowska, describe themselves as like sisters. They know each other so well. They'll be paddling confidently from the win that they took convincingly in the K4 yesterday. They're in lane 5, quickest qualifiers for this event. They're going well at the moment.
And it looks like Canada on the home ground advantage. They really want to put their race out, see if that home crowd can cheer them home in the back 250. So they've had a really good start, but it looks like the poles are just starting to squeeze that pressure on and make their mark.
They are. They look very smooth, don't they, the Polish crew? They look relaxed, they look smooth, they look together as they always do. The Germans putting them under pressure, so we can see from the split with halfway to go, less than a minute now to go, and it's the Germans who've stepped it up, moved ahead of the Poles, and it's up to the Poles to respond. And there's a battle going on between Canada, between New Zealand, between Denmark and Belgium for the bronze medal.
Looks like the Germans really want that. That rate's up, but it seems as though the Poles are just starting to squeeze on. They felt that pressure coming through, and it looks like they really want to take this race away from the Germans here. Kiwis are just fighting to hold off the Belgium for third.
Well, the Polish just look magnificent. They were asked the questions by the Germans. The Germans are coming back in them once again, but the Poles are holding. They're holding their nerve more importantly than anything. Their technique is holding up, maintaining the boat speed, maintaining the rhythm and the rotation. They're going to need all of that because the Germans are coming once again. It is the Poles who take the gold. Germany in silver and Belgium and New Zealand in a fight for the bronze medal.
Poland have got it together this season. They really knew what they wanted to achieve here, and they've dominated all team boats. K2, K4, World Cup, World Champs, and the way they did that today, just having that lower stroke rate, you can see that they've done a lot of work in the gym in the off-season. They've come on really strong.
Well, it was a little bit like Ludmila Lutzan in the C1, wasn't it? You know, a lot was asked of her. She was put under huge pressure, but she would not relent. The Germans in the men's C2,000 meters the same, put under pressure by the Chinese, but they stuck to the plan and they nailed it. And the Polish, they've had such a great system this year. They took 10 seniors, 10 under-23s, 10 juniors from the women's squad, put them all together, brought them on as a group, narrowed it down in number until they got the K4s and the K2s that they wanted, and it's really worked for them.
That's starting to show. Look, they're taking advantage of certain nations that aren't here at this point in time, and obviously the Hungarians aren't here. They've missed out in the A final, first time for quite some time, I dare say so. But you would have had to beat a quality crew to beat the Polish today, and the Germans have really tried taking it to them. And being a younger crew, new crew, the Germans, you haven't seen the last of them, but the Poles have been feeling that pressure around them, just working through, holding their race plan all the way to the line. They've done the work and it's paid off.
Yeah, maybe that was the difference, the experience they had in a boat together, and you're absolutely right there. The Germans were going to see a lot more of them in the future. They were rating higher than the Polish actually towards the finish, but the Poles just seemed to have that control and every ounce of their strength and power making that boat run smoothly and go forward, and that was the difference between the two crews. So there we go, Poland ahead of Germany, a long way ahead of the rest of the field. It's on the lunge for the line now. Look to be like the Belgians, who just over the last couple of seasons have got better and better. They've been up there in the medals consistently, perhaps just getting their bow ahead of the New Zealand boat.
Yeah, the Belgian team, they've always been in and around that, creating that pressure. You know, if you're in a semi-final with that Belgian crew, they're going to be really hard to beat.
They are indeed in the down, Polish down there with Ross.
Wow, what a big weekend for Poland. K4 world champions yesterday. Today, K2 world champions. How do you feel?
Yeah, we do it again. It was really brilliant race for us. We had a great finish. And we are winners, so we are really happy.
The last time Poland won this race was 1999 in K2. So you've had to wait a long time.
Yes, you know. We write the next history from Polish Federation, so we are really happy and look forward for next year and Olympic Games.
Great stuff. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it has to be said, that's no accident. They've planned this very, very carefully, the Polish. They really have. There was an opportunity for them to develop their crew boats. They've done exactly that. There you have it. First place, gold medal to Poland once again, as it was in the K4. Silver to Germany, an encouraging result for them. Really good result for the Belgians to take the bronze. New Zealand this time round just miss out on the medals, as does Deborah Kerr and Emma Russell, taking a really solid 5th place for them after their 4th place in the World Championships last year. Well, I'm afraid we've only got one more race to go. It is an Olympic discipline for Paris. It will be an exciting and close race, this one. It is the K2 men's 500-meter final. And there you can see the lineup: Slovakia, Germany, Ukraine, Portugal. Watch for them off the start. Australians, Hungary, Lithuania, USA, and the Czech Republic.
This is going to be incredibly exciting race. I haven't seen a field that's so competitive in such an event as this K2 500. Going through each semi-final, it was cutthroat. There was at least 5 crews that has the capability to be in this final and each semi-final. So to get through here was like a battle itself. So it was quite successful for any crew to be here, but in this final it's very difficult to pick. But obviously, knowing me being an Aussie, you know who I'm going to be cheering for in this scenario right now.
And rightly so, given that they're Olympic champions. However, that I suppose is in the longer distance of 1,000 meters. So it'll be really interesting to see how John Westhausen and Thomas Green get on here.
Look, I've been watching them really closely over the weekend, and right now, with the conditions in the headwind, slows the race down. That top end speed isn't quite as high, so it won't quite help certain crews that really go for that top end max speed. So it will hold them back, and it's going to add an extra 5 to 10 seconds in the race, which will help them.
Well, it'll be an interesting challenge, I'm sure, and as you said, incredibly competitive. You can't pin the gold medal on any one of these crews. Any one of the 9 here have the chance of winning. So we've got Vlek and Botek, the experienced Slovakians, in lane 1. Frank and Florstedt, the Germans, in lane 2. Kukurik and Trunov from the K4 that won the bronze medal here, they go in lane 3. Ribeiro and Baptista, the fast-starting Portuguese, who were the winners in Poland at the World Cup, go in lane 4. John Vesthausen and Tom Green, as we've said, from Australia go in lane 5. Bence Nadas with the world and Olympic champion in the K1. Balint Kopas from Hungary go in lane 6. Maldonis and Olinik from Lithuania are in 7. Eka and Small from the USA, we'll see in just a moment, they go in lane 8. There they are. And Spisar and Havel, always well drilled, the Czech crews, there over in lane 9. So a new Olympic distance for Paris. Ever since that had been announced, this event has become more and more competitive. The margins are very, very tight. 500 meters, so the start will be important, but as you said, David, headwind perhaps slowing times down.
Expect the Lithuanians, the Portuguese, the Germans to really put that race out. Ukraine will come home that last 150. They hold back a little bit and look for that 150. The Aussies, they really tend to make their mark post 200 meters. Bit of an issue with the American start gate.
Yeah, just sort of having problems with that. Let's hope they can sort that bucket out, get themselves in. They have. And there they are. Final of the men's K2 500 meters is underway.
False.
Well, it was underway. First false start we've seen today.
Bit of a sigh of relief for me. I think the boys missed the start there, so I'm quite thankful to see a false start in that scenario.
Well, I was just about to say the Australians haven't got away to a very good start,
no.
So let's just have a look here, see if anyone pushed early, or was it the American?
Oh, could be Lithuania.
Well, apparently it was lane 3. Ukrainians perhaps pushing on that bucket a little bit early. There they are in picture. Well, as you said, they might look to come through late, but they perhaps wanted to get away well. So, what are the paddlers going to do now? This is nervous moments. They've got another couple of minutes before they start again. They've got to go through all those processes before coming back into the bucket.
I mean, a lot of them will probably be thankful that they do get a second chance, because they were stuck there for quite some time waiting for the Americans to get into their bucket. So sometimes when you're in those buckets waiting with those bumpy conditions, you can get a little bit dissettled and not quite comfortable. So maybe this is just an opportunity just to blow out the cobwebs. Okay, get those nerves out of the way. We can reset, restart in the next one. You know, the ones that will be really feeling the pressure will be the Ukrainians, knowing that the false started. But a lot of them probably got that opportunity just to get that false start out. All right, reset, clear your mind. Got some time to come into that start gate and be fresh.
And I guess this is where experience comes in for a lot of these crews who've been around a long time, like the Lithuanians. This will have happened before. They'll be used to it. They'll know, right, we just reset, concentrate on our process, and back in they go. Not quite ready yet. You can see just how windy it is on the flags and on the trees there in the background. The wind moving from your left to your right, so it's a headwind. It's going to slow those times down. Paddlers ready. Final of the K2 men 500 meters. So we're away cleanly this time. It looked to be lane 4. The Portuguese, unsurprisingly, got away to a good start. That's what they will normally do. João Ribeiro and Messias Baptista, the winners from the World Cup in Poznan. But this is 500 meters. It's still, although fast, they've got to pace it. They've got to execute their race correctly. The green boat of the Lithuanians also away well. in the early part of this 500-meter race.
As we expected, Lithuanians and Portuguese will go out fast, but let's see how much they can hold on to that, because this headwind will hurt a crew that goes out too hard. Right now, the Aussies will be just feeling that pressure of the Portuguese moving out, and hopefully they get dragged out. Ukraine will be next to them as well.
Well, it'll be really interesting to see whether the Australians and the Hungarians, who didn't get to the best start, but they're still in this. They're only half a boat length down, beginning to move forward. It is, in fact, the Hungarians that look to be moving well at the moment. Of course, they've got Banook in there, the world and Olympic champion, in the back of that boat, pushing them along. But there are 5 or 6 boats all within a great chance of not only a medal, but winning this one. And again, the Lithuanians seem to step it up.
Lithuanians are holding on to that lead. The Aussies will feel the Portuguese falling back. They'll feel confident. They'll want to move through, but the Lithuanians are still holding on to that lead. Wait, look for the Ukrainians up top. They do have a strong finish.
Yeah, they do. The Ukrainians in lane 3. They've still got a bit of work to do now. The pressure is all on the Lithuanians now. 50 or 60 metres to go. The Hungarians beginning to move through. We start to see Westhuizen and Green from Australia still. They've got limited time to pick it up now. Looks to be like the Hungarians really burying themselves here. They have the lead ahead of the Lithuanians, and Australia maybe in a battle with the Czech Republic for the bronze medal.
Unbelievable effort from the Hungarians.
Well, have we got a new Hungarian crew here? They've struggled. They've had the 2 best kayak paddlers in the world, Adam Varga and Balint Kopas, come together in K2, and that didn't work. So they've tried things again, but this time round, maybe Benche Nadas and Balint Kopas, well, what a partnership.
Absolutely. Come out in such an event with so much intensity and pressure on that race, and not being paddling together as frequently as they have been, to come out and win. Some favoured crews over that. Unbelievable effort.
Yeah, not only to come back and win, but win such a competitive race. And it was really interesting to see, wasn't it? The early starters was with Portugal. Lithuania got away really well. Ukraine's didn't really make a move. There's Tom Green, John Westhausen. They've had their own problems, haven't they? Thomas Green having COVID only just a week ago, so I don't think they'll be too disappointed with their race. But in the middle, they began to move through. It was actually the Hungarians that just perhaps kept the length of the stroke that little bit better and were able to pick it up, and they had the best of the boat speed down in the last 70 or 80 metres.
Well, yeah, look, Ukrainians, usually they have been really strong at that back end. Maybe I'll put the mocker on them, but to see the Lithuanians, the Hungarians come through over the Aussies in that last 200, that's a really impressive last 200 kick by both crews.
Yeah, there we go. The acceleration from the Hungarians towards the end, just ahead of Lithuania. Let's keep an eye on the bronze medal, I think, going to Australia. It does indeed. So Tom Green and John Westhausen pick up a medal there, and very shortly on the pontoon, hopefully, we'll get a word with the Hungarian crew, who will be delighted to pick up another gold medal.
What a fantastic win for Hungary. I can see what that means for you. You're so emotional. Tell me. What?
Yes, because it's a new Olympic event, Olympic race, and we won it together, and it's amazing. It's incredible. So I can't believe it.
Balint, what a weekend for you. 1,000-meter world champion, now K2 world champion. Can you believe that?
Yes, it was amazing race. I think we were in a very good form, and this is very important in this 500-meter distance. And today was the best day for me.
It really was your day. Congratulations, boys. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, not only their day, but Balint Kopas, it's been his weekend. He was put under huge pressure yesterday by the former world champion Fernando Pimenta, but he came up with the goods. They did that again in the K2 today. Delighted with the gold medal there, 134.98. Maldonis and Olenek held on bravely for the silver, and John Westhausen and Tom Green pick up a bronze medal for Australia. What a way to end our session today. Well, from myself, Mally Johnson, and from David Smith, it's been a fantastic event. We do have some more 5,000-meter racing. We'll hope that you will join us for that a little bit later on. But David, anything that stands out to you that was particularly impressive?
Look, you can't deny what Lisa Carrington is doing within this sport and how she's been dominating that event of the K1 500 and 200. But I must point out the women's K4 500 final. Obviously, Poland standout performances within that team boat arena. The Aussies, my compatriots, coming through with a maiden second silver medal, but Mexico.
Yes, of course.
Brilliant.
Developing nation, we're going to see more of those in the future.
Amazing.
Well, we will hope that you will join us in the future again this afternoon for the 5K racing. But from myself, Manny Johnson, and from David Smith, it's goodbye from Dartmouth.
Stay hydrated. It is hot, hot, hot out there. We are looking forward to cheering on more athletes. We do have more finals coming up and also some medal presentations in the next hour or